Hey everyone, this video is a continuation of solving rational expressions using the LCD method, which is taught in a previous video. We're going to have one less example, this time go through it a little bit more slowly, a little bit more in depth to really make sure we get this down. So remember, you want to figure out what the LCD is, and you want to multiply everything in the equation by the LCD. So looking at my first example, I know that what I need to do is I need to factor my denominators and figure out what my LCD is. So my first fraction is going to be x over x minus 4 can't factor. I'm putting that in parentheses. This is going to become plus a negative 1. Remember, we always change it to plus a negative over 1 equals 3x minus 2 over x squared minus 4x. You can take out an LCD of x. So that's x minus 4. What you're going to notice in this video is I am going to, when I do the factoring step, when I do the LCD step, I am going to rewrite everything that comes from this original problem in black. Everything else, the new parts, the multiplying by the LCD, that's going to come in a different color. Try to help us break it down a little bit more visually. So my LCD needs to contain, if I look at what's outside of my parentheses, outside of my binomial, I have a 1 on the outside here, I have a 1 here, and I have an x here. I don't really worry about the ones. Multiplying by 1, dividing by 1 is not going to change this at all. But I do need to make sure I take care of that x, so my LCD has to contain just an x. I then go through and I look at anything that I have that's a binomial or higher. I have an x minus 4 and an x minus 4, so my LCD also needs to contain an x minus 4. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to multiply this entire thing by my LCD, the x times x minus 4. That means in my numerator, I am going to have the original, I'm going to have my x times x minus 4, and then my original problem times x over x minus 4. Plus, I'm multiplying x times x minus 4 times negative 1 over 1, and then equals x times x minus 4, and then times the original, 3x minus 2 over x times x minus 4. What you'll be able to see is every single fraction or every single term that we originally had now has been multiplied by the LCD. The reason we do this is because we are now able to eliminate where we can. So I can eliminate, in the first fraction, x and x minus 4. You're left with x times x, which is x squared. I can't eliminate anything in the second fraction, so I go ahead and I multiply. I have negative 1 times x, which is going to give me negative x, and I distribute it. So negative x times x, that's negative x squared. Negative x times negative 4 is positive 4x. And then in the second, or the final fraction, the one on the right side, I can eliminate the x. I can eliminate the x minus 4. You simply have 3x minus 2. What's going to happen on the left side of the equation is the x squareds are going to cancel out. We have 4x equals 3x minus 2. And then I need to solve, so I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides and get x equals negative 2. Now, the one thing we have to be careful of is we have to check and see if this works. I'm going to come back up to the top, and I am going to plug in. I have 2 over 2 minus 4 minus 1 equals 3 times 2 minus 2 over 2 squared minus 4 times 2. And what you will notice, everyone can see where I've made the mistake, is these should all be negatives. So this should be negative 2 over negative 2 minus 4. 3 times negative 2, and then negative 2 squared over 4 times negative 2. So what I have in the first fraction, this is negative 2 over negative 6 minus 1. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to negative 1/3. It's going to be positive 1/3 minus 1, but I'm going to make that minus 3/3 equals 3 times negative 2 is going to give us negative 6, minus 2 is negative 8 over, I have negative 2 squared is 4, and then negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, so this is going to become over 12. 1/3 minus 3/3 will give us negative 2/3, which is what negative 8 over 12 reduces to. So we're good here. We give it a check mark, we box our answer in. All right, for our second example, same thing. We're going to go through it pretty slowly. So I'm going to rewrite my original problem with factoring everything. R minus 2 can't factor. I'm just going to put it in parentheses. R squared minus 7r plus 10 is a trinomial. It can factor as 2 binomials. So the two numbers that are going to multiply to a positive 10 add to a negative 7 are going to be negative 5 and negative 2. And then the last fraction, r minus 2, once again can't factor. So we just leave it alone. Let's put parentheses around it. So my LCD, I don't have any numbers. I don't have any just x's or x squareds or x to any power on the outside. My LCD is only going to contain what's in parentheses, which is in this case r minus 2 times r minus 5. So I am multiplying the entire thing by the LCD. So in the first numerator, I'm going to have r minus 2 times r minus 5 times 1, which I don't really need, over r minus 2. The second fraction, same thing, I'm multiplying by r minus 2 times r minus 5 times 1 over r minus 5 times r minus 2. And then in the last one, r minus 2 times r minus 5 times 6 all over r minus 2. Now this will allow me to eliminate from the first fraction, the r minus 2's cancel. You're left with 1 times r minus 5, so that's just r minus 5. Plus, in the second fraction, the r minus 5 and the r minus 2 cancels. All you're left with is a 1. So you have r minus 5 plus 1. And then equals, in the third fraction, I can cancel the r minus 2's. 6 times r minus 5 is going to give us 6r minus 30. Simplifying where I can, I have 6r minus 30 equals r minus 4. I'm going to subtract r. So 5r minus 30 equals 4, equals negative 4. I'm going to add my 30 over. So 5r equals 26. I'm going to divide and I'm going to get 26 over 5. And then we go back through and we make sure that we check our answer.